Welcome to World Alert Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The skies over Luzon thunder with the return of U.S. Air Force C-17s, their engines echoing a familiar yet long-absent sound. These massive aircraft, symbols of American reach and resolve, once again cast their shadows over Philippine soil. They're not landing at gleaming airbases, but on runways marked by decades of absence. Airstrips where grass has crept through cracks and faded markings tell stories of a different era. American forces are back in the Philippines, not as occupiers, but as partners, standing shoulder to shoulder with Filipino troops. This is a return built on mutual respect and shared interests. Their mission is clear: rebuild, reinforce, and stand with an old ally against new threats from across the South China Sea. Together, they're restoring bases, upgrading defenses, and preparing for whatever challenges may arise. At Subic Bay, once the U.S. Navy's Pacific stronghold, massive ships unload troops and equipment, bulldozers, cranes, advanced communications gear. The port bustles with activity, echoing its historic role as a gateway for American power in Asia. Convoys bearing both U.S. and Philippine flags head to forgotten outposts, transforming them into modern hubs for joint operations. These convoys are more than just military movements. They're a sign of renewed commitment. This is more than a military exercise, it's a visible, urgent commitment. The stakes are high, and every decision made here could shape the region's future. The South China Sea, once calm, is now a flashpoint, a contested expanse where rival claims and rising tensions threaten to ignite conflict. For the Philippines, it's about sovereignty, defending their islands, their waters, and their way of life from encroachment. For the U.S., it's about regional stability and upholding international law, ensuring that the Indo-Pacific remains open and free for all nations. The return to these historic bases is a leap forward, not a step back. It's a bold move to secure peace and deter aggression in a rapidly changing world. The world is watching, especially Beijing. Every deployment, every press conference sends a message that echoes far beyond these shores. The message is clear: the U.S.-Philippine alliance is alive, adapting, and ready for the challenges of the 21st century. This partnership is being renewed with purpose and vision. Construction hums, boots hit the ground, and a new chapter begins. The work is constant, the energy palpable, as both nations invest in a shared future. This chapter is defined by cooperation and shared resolve. Training together, planning together, they forge bonds that go beyond treaties and agreements. The alliance is being reforged for a new era, one where the Indo-Pacific remains free and open, where nations can prosper without fear of coercion. Every action, every deployment is a statement of intent, a promise that neither nation stands alone in the face of uncertainty. The partnership is no longer just history, it's a living force, shaped by the sacrifices of the past and the ambitions of the present. The region's future depends on this renewed alliance. Decisions made today will echo for generations, shaping the destiny of the Indo-Pacific. The old alliance is not just returning, it's evolving, growing stronger and more relevant with every passing day. The U.S. and the Philippines are building a foundation for peace and security, brick by brick, handshake by handshake. The Indo-Pacific's stability now rests on this partnership, a beacon of cooperation in uncertain times. The world is watching as history is made, as two nations reaffirm their commitment to each other and to the region. The alliance stands ready for whatever comes next, united, vigilant, and determined to shape a future defined by peace, security, and shared purpose. To truly grasp the depth of today's alliance between the United States and the Philippines, we must look back to a time when history was being written on the runways and harbors of Luzon. For nearly a century, Clark Air Base and Subic Bay Naval Base stood as pillars of American power in Asia, projecting strength and stability across the Pacific. These sprawling bases didn't just house soldiers and ships, they shaped local economies, created thousands of jobs, and fostered deep bonds between Americans and Filipinos, both on and off duty. The alliance was forged in the crucible of World War II, tested in the jungles of Vietnam, and became a shield for both nations in a turbulent and unpredictable region. But by the late 1980s, a new force was rising. Philippine nationalism surged, echoing through the streets and into the halls of power. Many Filipinos began to see the bases as relics of colonialism, sparking fierce debate and passionate calls for change. Then, in 1991, nature intervened. Mount Pinatubo erupted with devastating force, burying Clark Air Base under a thick blanket of ash and destruction. Faced with overwhelming damage, the U.S. chose not to rebuild, marking the beginning of the end for its military presence. Soon after, the Philippine Senate made a historic decision, voting to end the U.S. presence at Subic Bay, a move that reverberated across the region. In 1992, the last American forces departed, closing a chapter that had defined generations and leaving behind empty runways and silent docks. The bases were reborn as economic zones, bustling with new civilian businesses, while the alliance itself shifted from daily reality to words on paper. The visible partnership faded from view, but the connection, built on shared sacrifice and history, endured quietly in the background. Subic and Clark transformed, yet the memories of cooperation and sacrifice remained, honored in memorials and in the hearts of veterans. The alliance was dormant, not dead, its spirit preserved in treaties, documents, and the stories of those who served. The U.S. military presence was gone, but the story of partnership was far from over, waiting for a new chapter to begin. The seeds of partnership lay quietly in the soil, waiting for the right moment and a new era to bloom once again. The stage was set for a return, when the world would need it most, and when old friends would be called together once more. History, it turns out, was only on pause, ready to resume when the time was right and the need was greatest. After the Cold War, the region seemed calm, but as America's footprint shrank, China's power surged. China modernized its military, building a blue water navy and advanced missile forces. It claimed nearly the entire South China Sea, ignoring the rights of its neighbors. Artificial islands became military outposts, and Chinese ships harassed Filipino fishermen and blockaded resupply missions. The threat was no longer distant, it was at the Philippines' doorstep. Manila realized it couldn't face China alone. The U.S. saw its own interests threatened. Chinese expansionism forced both nations to rethink their strategies. The old alliance found new urgency. A partnership of necessity was reborn. The alliance is being rebuilt on the ground, not just on paper. U.S. and Filipino engineers upgrade bases, extend runways, and build new facilities for joint use. Annual Balikatan exercises now involve thousands, simulating real combat and amphibious landings. These drills show both readiness and unity. U.S. Special Forces train with Filipino Marines while Navy ships make regular port calls. Pre-positioned supplies, fuel, ammo, aid are now spread across key sites. Logistics is the backbone. Troops must be ready and supplied from day one. Every convoy, every construction project is part of a larger strategy. The alliance is becoming a practical, on-the-ground reality. The groundwork is set for a credible defense. The promise of partnership is now tangible. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, stands as the alliance's new foundation, redefining how the United States and the Philippines work together to ensure security in the region. Signed in 2014, EDCA allows rotational U.S. forces at select Philippine bases. There are no permanent U.S. bases, but both nations benefit from shared access and increased cooperation. The agreement recently expanded to 9 strategic sites, including vital locations near Taiwan and the South China Sea, areas that are increasingly important for regional stability. This growing network gives both nations greater strategic reach, rapid response capability, and the ability to train together for a wide range of scenarios. For the U.S., it's about maintaining access and deterrence in a critical part of the world, without the burden or controversy of old-style permanent bases. For the Philippines, it's a powerful shield against external threats and a clear path to military modernization, with new training and advanced equipment. U.S. investments are upgrading local infrastructure, building new facilities, and providing a boost to the local economy through jobs and development. The alliance is now smarter, more flexible, and more resilient, able to adapt quickly to new challenges and threats in the Indo-Pacific. EDCA is a win-win, deterring aggression, building capacity, and strengthening the bonds between two long-standing allies. The blueprint for mutual defense is firmly in place, shaping a safer and more secure future for both nations and the region. Subic Bay is now home to a groundbreaking U.S.-funded ammunition and weapons factory. This state-of-the-art facility will produce everything from small arms rounds to advanced artillery shells. It shortens supply lines, ensuring U.S. and Filipino forces have what they need in a crisis. The hub boosts combat readiness and resilience for both nations. For the U.S., it diversifies production and strengthens deterrence. For the Philippines, it means jobs, investment, and a leap in defense capability. The factory could even make the Philippines a regional munitions exporter. This project is a symbol of deep, practical partnership. Subic Bay is once again a linchpin of regional security. The alliance delivers real, lasting benefits. China's harassment in the South China Sea is relentless. Water cannons, blockades, and intimidation. The flashpoint Second Thomas Shoal, where Filipino Marines hold out on a grounded ship. China tries to force them out, risking dangerous confrontations. The U.S. presence is a crucial deterrent. U.S. Navy patrols signal that international waters are for all, not just Beijing. Joint U.S. Philippine operations complicate China's calculations. Enhanced U.S. intelligence helps Manila expose China's actions to the world. The alliance shines a spotlight on aggression, making it riskier for China. The goal: deter conflict and uphold the rule of law. The U.S. Philippine partnership is a shield against coercion. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty is the alliance's backbone. For years, its scope in the South China Sea was unclear. Now, the U.S. has made its commitment explicit. Any attack on Philippine forces, even Coast Guard, triggers U.S. defense obligations. This red line forces China to think twice. New defense guidelines ensure both militaries can respond together, swiftly and effectively. The treaty now covers land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace. The alliance is institutionalized, not just promised. The Philippines gains a credible security guarantee. The treaty has new teeth. Deterrence is stronger than ever. The U.S.-Philippine alliance is about more than deterring China. It's driving economic growth, creating jobs, and modernizing the Philippine military. Technology transfer and joint training accelerate Philippine self-reliance. Cooperation extends to cybersecurity, disaster relief, and maritime security. Public opinion in the Philippines now strongly favors the alliance. Debate continues, but the partnership is seen as vital for sovereignty and prosperity. The alliance adapts to new challenges, aiming to prevent, not provoke, conflict. Together, the U.S. and Philippines are building a stable, secure Indo-Pacific. The world watches as this old friendship becomes a bulwark for freedom. The alliance stands ready to shape the region's future.